it'll make sense. What was it? The writing proportional equations from tables, this one, I actually went ahead and by the afternoon, I also put my arrow to that of saying this is really tomorrow's homework. But yeah, once we get through a little bit of learning, then we will get to Jenga. Let's start here. So some of you probably saw this problem on your homework last night. We're being asked to write an equation that relates the step number. Throw it away, Jimmy. Unless there's a reason that you need tape right now, throw away the piece or stick it on your paper. We don't need to be playing with it. Jimmy, do you need your pencil taped to your paper? Is that going to help anything? Good now? Okay. So we are being asked to write an equation that relates the step number and the height that we end up at from those steps. There are actually two equations that we could write here, and both of them are right. Like in Khan Academy, mathematically speaking, they're both right. What we're trying to get to is the form y equals rx, or y equals mx, or kx, or whatever letter you put in front of x, doesn't really matter. It's y equals something times x. So our goal is to be able to look at this as x and this as y and write that equation. But as long as your team can relate them of like, oh, the height is whatever times the step, or the step is whatever times the height, like that's good. That's our first goal. Then our goal is get it to y equals rx. So chat with your team. How could we relate the height to the step here? What relationship do we see? This is proportional, so we should be able to spot that relationship. Chat with each other.
I know. So y times x equals r.
How do those numbers relate to each other? 50 to 10, 90 to 18. If you need to check it through some division. So what if you use the variables they want us to use so we have it for our homework? If you see this on homework, realize they're wanting you to use n for step number, h for the height that ends up being. So n is the step number, h is the height.
H times 5 is 10.
10 goes into 50, 18 goes into 95.
I don't know about that.
2 meters.
Chat with each other. You're like, I'm not asking you to tell me the answer right this moment.
Well, you said
Do
times
you guys see
5.
like a multiplication or a division happening here? By what?
So, so divide by the biggest number.
I mean, we can, right? We don't have to. So don't feel like I was saying we had to. What's the number
So
that relates
technically,
these
so
two?
you guys are doing it back. You're going 10 times 5, 18 times 5.
By the way, I'm not using random cards right now because I have your teams set. I just need to lay them out again because I already took that picture.
Wait, what did we say?
I will use random cards. I'll just lay out the teams and make it happen that way. Lakin, tell me what you guys said here.
I said, we said, h times 5 equals x.
Now, how'd you figure that out?
Because if we use the y and the x, y times 5, or like 10 times 5 is 50, 18 times 5 is 90, and then 22 times 5 is 100.
So you said h times 5 equals n, or another way we could write that if we kind of flip it around to what we're used to is like n equals 5 times h. Totally agree. Now, Jimmy, you said you spotted division. If we go this way, what is happening there? What could we say?
You're dividing the biggest number from the smallest number.
And what was that division happening? You told me the number was
5.
Yeah, so we could either say we're multiplying by 5 this way, or we're dividing by 5 this way, but what if I ask you to multiply following the blue arrow? Can anyone think of, if we're getting smaller, we're probably going to need a fraction or a decimal, Elias?
Oh, wait, never mind.
No, dude, tell me what you were thinking. Okay, so you were going that way, so that's totally fine. We can do times 5. Lakin? Guys, division by 5 is the same as talking about a fifth. So what we could also say here, and you're probably going to see this on your homework, is that the height is a fifth of the step number, and that's the form we're trying to work to. Now, both of these Con will take, because both of them are right. But what we're trying to get to is saying y equals something times x, and here our y is smaller, so to get y equals something times x, so here it'd be like y equals 1/5 x. But if we use the variables they want, we're not using x and y. Questions on this? Because the numbers get a tad bit trickier. Let's try, I still don't know if I want to do that one. Let's do this. Because this one I feel like is going to be slightly easier for us. I want to challenge you to write your equation like n, like start with n equals something. I like to use capital letters. You can use lowercase if you want, but my lowercase letters don't look great. How does n relate to m? Chat with each other. How does n relate to m? Is it bigger? Is it smaller? What would we need to multiply by? How can we do this? We'd like to work left to right. We'd like to go from m to n, but to do that we want to say n is what compared to the starting number m. So we already talked with Lakin. Tommy, what are you feeling here? What relationship are you seeing?
7.
What 7?
For m times 7.
Ooh, gives us what?
The n.
I know, I hate working with m and n because they sound so similar. N is 7 times. Tommy's saying he spots times 7 here.
Double n gives us n.
So n is 7 times m always, right? If I do 5 times 7, if I do 8 times 7, so n is 7m. We could also write this y equals 7 times x. And that's the form we're trying to work towards. Josh?
And we also do like 1/7.
You could, but I'm trying to get you in the habit of going left to right. So you're right, we could use 1/7 if we flip the letters around. But yeah, now, here, if you want a fraction one. Nope, now I moved my order of slides. No, this still, well, a fraction could work here, a decimal could work here, a mixed number could work here. This one doesn't come out to be a whole number, right, is what I'm saying. And I would encourage you to think about fractions. Guys, you can type in fractions to Khan Academy like as much as you want. A lot of times fractions are better. The decimal here could work, but chat with each other. What do you see? What's happening here to here? If we don't know, how do we figure it out? Check it that it happens there to there. Chat with each other. What do we want to do? What do we see? Does this belong to anyone? No, I do not need people to say, I'll take it. Somebody lost a D10, but it's a multiple 10 die.
I think that could have. I think I've seen somebody.
I think it's somebody from 1B.
I think it might be not Lydia, but great job.
It could be Elias. He plays D&D. Okay.
It could be Lydia.
Yeah, that's my thought.
Yeah,
That might be Lydia.
Because I've seen
forwards this way, we divide backwards the other way. What are we getting here?
Good job, group.
Do we know what to multiply by? Ooh, so you already figured out. How'd you figure that out? Did you need your calculator or did you just know that one? Whoa! Hi now.
Sorry.
Liam! Alright, Liam. Sir, talk me through this. Come back together because I'm trying to get us to at least each get a Jenga question. Alright, Liam, talk me through. What'd you say? You can just, let's have that conversation again, but in front of the whole class. What'd you say? Y is?
Don't say the curse word.
Y is 4.5
times x.
times our x. How did you figure that out?
Don't say it.
How'd you figure that out?
You can use your calculator to do 9 divided by 2, or what's just half of 9.
If we don't know, gentlemen, if we don't know what the multiplication is, we divide backwards. So Liam did 9 divided by 2. You could also do 36 divided by 8 or 22.5 divided any of those divisions backwards. And that gave Liam 4.5. But guys, you could also write this. Look up here because this is guys, I'm trying to make your life, your homework, your tests easier. So please look up here. We don't have to use the decimal. You could literally just write your equation y equals 9 over 2 divided by x. Because what if it didn't come out to be a nice decimal, like those repeating decimals that we've started seeing? If you get a bad decimal when you type into your calculator, just take what you typed in, the division that you wrote, use that, right? Just use that. So here's another situation. Maybe. I put these in the wrong order. Sorry, I got real squirrely with planning this out.
Fine.
Well, because I tried to cut some of these. All right, so let's try this one. Sugar compared to lemonade. If we're making batches of lemonade, we want to say the sugar is, like the sugar we need. The sugar we need is, this is like our x, this is like our y. I'm going to write those in a brighter color. Is sugar more than water? Or sorry, is sugar more than the lemon juice? Is it less? So if it's less, should we be multiplying by a big number or a small number? If it is distracting you, I'm going to take it away. Nope, you can have this back at the end of class, but right now it is not what we need to be doing. Because you can't type in x and y in your calculator. It doesn't work that way. You can't, like the variables we're using, it doesn't work that way. So how is this going to help you understand this one?
The first one, 2 divided by 5.
Okay. How is it helping you with what our goal is right now? It's not, right? I'm on your team, dude. You need to understand I'm taking this out of your distraction zone so you can focus on what we need to do right now. Don't be mad. We're on the same team. I'm trying to get through this learning so we can play a game. You're slowing us down. So one thing you could write on your paper, like real big, real obvious, what will always work? Guys, if you are still trying to like figure out what we're doing here, I would write this down. If you're trying to make an equation and you have x and y, the equation that will always work, y equals y over x times x. This will always, always, always work. As long as we're proportional, which is everything we're looking at right
So
now.
that would be what would happen if you multiply, but we're going from y to x.
So we can write this two different ways. We can write this the sugar we need, and what I hear Mrs. Fisher talking about, we could also write this the lemon juice that we need. We'll look at both of these. Anybody want to volunteer to tell me what number you spotted is the relationship here? Jimmy?
2.5.
2.5. So which one's bigger, lemon juice or sugar?
Lemon juice.
So if I'm talking about the lemon juice is 2.5 times the sugar. But what we're trying to get to, like this is right, you could type this into con, it's fine. What we're trying to get to though, is be able to talk about the sugar we need. So I need to instead, guys, if this is y, and this is x, what did we just say down here? Y will equal y over x, right? Always y over x. So what if I put y over x, and then our x here, we're using lemon juice, right? And I think they use J, but I'm going to keep using L because it's what I started using. 200 over 500. Can this be reduced? What is it?
4.
Ooh, careful.
0.4.
Hey guys, look up here. Anytime you have zeros stacked, I can take a 0 off the top and a 0 off the bottom. I just divided by 10 is what I did. Can I do that again?
Yeah.
Ooh, and if you want to use a decimal, sure, it does equal 0.4, or you could just use the fraction. Now wait a minute. Keep your eyes up here if you would. 2/5 is actually, if I write it as a fraction, anyone want to help me?
4/10.
No, that's what this one up here is. 2/5, sorry, I think I said this wrong. 2.5. Sorry, now I'm talking about that 2.5 that Jimmy told me earlier. That 2.5 I just had here
2.5.
is actually 5 over 2.
That's correct.
The two different equations we can use, flip the variables, flip the fraction. That's literally the relationship between our two different equations. If the variables swap places, the fractions gotta flip.
Brokaw, please report to the Perry main office. Sasha Brokaw to the Perry main
Let's try
office,
this one.
please. Thank you.
I want you to try to write a y equals equation for like concert tickets, right? So they say T for tickets and C for cost. So I want you to write the T equation. I know this one's tougher. And if you can't get there, you could write the C equation first and then flip. So what if we write the C equation? Chat with your partners. What's the number relationship here? What's that multiplier or divide? Chat with your partners. You guys are about to be a Jenga team. Alright, now I'll build the tower while we're doing this.
Times C.
What was that number you just said?
T equals 1/55 times C.
Okay. You're saying fraction. I heard 55th, and I was like, let me say 55.
So let's write that down. And then if we multiply it by that,
Probably 8th graders, but anybody can. Not during class,
and then if
Lakin.
you take this and multiply it by 2,
The most logical move would be on to S.
so if we take 110 and multiply it by that,
I should hear a lot more conversation right now.
yeah, a lot of us are not talking to each other.
Oh wait, like, we don't have to play Jenga today. If we can't get through this problem, I guess we just won't play Jenga. This is like our reward, guys.
More of 110.
I don't know.
It's 155.
Any volunteers to help me with this problem? guys. Anyone I haven't talked with today want to help me?
Yeah.
Ooh, Owen? What number, what relationship do you spot here?
So I divided 2 and 110 by 2 in my head, and I got 55.
So Owen got 55. Who found that 55 relationship here? Yeah. So if we're going this way, we could multiply. If we're going this way, we could. What'd you do with the 55? So if we set up the cost,
That's a lot of money for this one ticket.
it actually isn't. So Ticketmaster is currently like under investigation for gouging prices of tickets and putting too many fees on. That's what you should expect to pay if you're going to a concert. Like 40 to 50 is pretty normal. Taylor Swift, you're talking hundreds, even like thousands. So this is so what is it? This is telling us what? One ticket's $55. But guys, how can I make 55 into a fraction? Hey gents, how can I make 55 into a fraction? Elias? Or did Josh say it again? Or you're not. I'm getting distracted by the people that are talking and distracting my brain. Lakin or Josh, how do I turn 55 into a fraction?
55 over 11.
Guys, if you aren't writing this down, I don't understand why. You're probably going to see this on your homework. So if I want to write the t equation, if I want to switch around my variables, I want to swap my variables, what else can I do? What else do I have to do? Like we just did on the last one, if the variables trade places, say it. Say it. The fraction needs to flip. And this would be t equals 1/55th c. Either equation works. But what we're trying to get to is this form of y equals something times x. I don't know, sometimes this feels, who thinks this feels silly? This one. Like this makes sense in my head. How many, like your cost will be 55 times the tickets. This, the tickets we can buy, this is the tickets we can buy is 1/55th of what we pay, right? The cost. It's a weird equation, but like eventually that's what we want to get comfortable doing. All right, you guys ready to Jenga? Yeah! Just keep out that graph paper, right? Keep out that graph paper. Oh, hey, look, there's question 10 real quick. All right, there are only 10 questions because I knew that we would not have very much time.
The giant die.
I am, because we have to figure out which team goes first. So Lakin's team, you're 1, Tommy's, you're 2, Caroline's, you're 3, Reese, you're 4. 5 and 6 would go to nobody.
4.
It would be a re-roll, right? 5 and 6 would be a re-roll. 3, so Caroline's team, you're first. 6. So actually that makes Reese's team, because now we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So Reese's team, roll that again. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Lakin's team, you're 1, 2, 3. And it's a 6. So that's going to be Tommy's team. And Lakin's team, you will be saving the best for last. All right, so Caroline, 1 through 10, because we only have 10 numbers. What do you want to pick? 6. Just because my brain. All right. Pamela can drive 99 kilometers with 9 liters of fuel. How far could she drive on 12 liters of fuel? Chat with your team. Caroline is question master. She'll be telling me the answer once the team agrees. Jimmy, let me finish. You gotta go talk with your team. They need your brain power. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate you.
Okay, so let's see.
They need your brain power over there. This feels wobbly.
Yeah, that's what we were
Yeah,
saying
it's
up
really
there.
wobbly.
Like, why is it so wobbly?
Whatever, it is what it is. We'll see if this even lasts to our class and accelerated next might have
With 1 liter,
some trouble.
90. Not 90.
Well, it would be 9 over 9 and then 12 times 9 and then
everything's ready, you just let me know. I said accelerated is what I had said about the next class.
I did 132.
What's the equation?
12 over 132.
Okay, good.
What would be the answer? Because,
Write that down.
12 times, 12 divided by 9 and then times that number by 99.
Because you can try running higher. Just the answer 12
12 over 132.
Yeah, pretty much every other country uses kilometers, not miles. Sorry, friends. Or we could set up our proportion with the two different labels. Sure.
Can I steal?
You ready? Otherwise, I was gonna give you like 30 seconds.
Make sure you guys talk to each other.
Yeah. Let's go 30-second warning. Talk with your teammates. Each team should get at least one question here. All right, ready? All right, Caroline, how many kilometers do you think Pamela can drive? Hey, you want to be listening if you want a chance at a steal opportunity. 132. How'd you figure that out? Yeah, guys, if you set up kilometers over liters, you spot that there's an 11 relationship here, right? You could also think of this like the tables we were just doing with liters to kilometers.
Sorry.
Gravity works. Yeah, that's because we're trying to make that chair survive. It is broken. It's yeah. So 9 to 11, or sorry, 9 to 99. If you set this up like the tables we were just looking, it's times 11. So Caroline said, do 12 times 11, and there we go. Nice work. Send somebody up, Caroline.
Oh, wait, here.
All right, did we reassemble what we needed to back there? Are we good?
Yep.
All right, I need to save this as your guys' class in case we can come back to it. Reese, give us our second question. Everything but 6 is still there. 4. Better duck. There's a golf ball coming at you. How many sprinkles does Stan need?
Oh,
How many sprinkles? Hey guys, chill. It's math class. You're not playing a video game. You're not trying to pwn some news. You're not screaming into your mic. We're doing math.
Let's make our proportion first. So write it down on your paper.
we need to make 60 cookies, so 116 times. We need 16.
How many sprinkles he will need to make 6
Yep.
You could build a table.
Why would you count the exact amount of sprinkles?
Hudson's give you guys a gift. I would just add range.
So if you don't know what to do, I got a little start up there for you. We put this into a table like we were just looking at. We could just set up cookies and sprinkles. Then we're gonna put Post-its on it, like this, and you guys can reflect and move the board beside it so you guys can write on it. Because once the game gets a bit farther, it's hard to tell who's moving these. Ready?
So 24 and 384. It'd probably be easier to do.
Reese, can you talk me through how you did this? Hey, Reese is ready. Sorry, I didn't really make a big announcement. And I'm not pausing music today. I'm just trying to keep it a bit quieter. So Reese, talk us through.
I put 24 over 384, and then I did 60 times 384, and then that number divided by 20.
Ooh, so you did the cross multiplication style. So Reese said she did this, and we can call this X or whatever you want. If you get help in con, con to solve these, it'll show you a technique that some of you maybe got taught last year called cross multiplication, where you can multiply 384 by 60, multiply 24 by x, and it gives you like 24x equals, this is actually really, really big. It's 23040. And then you'd have to divide, what'd you guys get, Reese?
960.
Because after we get rid of that 24, what we end up with is actually 960 sprinkles. Very good work. Now guys, you could also, all four on the ground, scooch back into the table like at school, pick up your pencil. That now we look like we're ready to learn. What you could also do is check what's happening here. If I don't know what to multiply, how do I figure it out? Divide backwards. So 384 divided by 24. This is times 16 across the table I set up. So if I did 16 times 16, that would also work. There's a lot of right ways to solve these problems. Number 4 is gone. Reese, send somebody to the tower. And Tommy, pick our next question. 7. Lucky number 7. Which equation has a constant of proportionality of 25 hundredths? Or 0.25 if we want to say it wrong.
I have a question. Are
Yes.
you keeping score?
No. I mean, right now we would all be tied. I mean, we can make a note of if we're not tied anymore, but I'm trying to like get as fast as we can, like get through questions. Which equation has a constant of proportionality of 25 hundredths, or 0.25 if we say it kind of the lazy way?
Let him know if you're ready. I'm ready.
Oh, all right. Did you check with Elias? All right. But I just want to make sure you checked with your teammate. All right, Tommy. What do you think?
C.
Why do you think that?
Because 0.25 is 1/4 of a hundredth, and it's 1/4 as you can see.
Yeah, that's one of the fractions that should start to kind of like take some space in our brain of like, I know a fourth is 0.25. Guys, we need to get to the point where we don't need calculators for certain things. If I give you a fourth of the pizza, I'm giving you 25%, right? Or 0.25, 25 hundredths. Very nice work, Tommy. One of you come up to the tower. 7 is gone. Hi, hungry. I'm Mr. Hudson. Lakin, pick a question.
I'm gonna go number 1 because our team is number 1.
Because you are number 1. Well, we did say we saved the best for last. Ooh. What equation does... I'll let you do A equals equation or B equals equation. It's up to you. You can tell me A equals whatever or B equals whatever. But you got to do it accurately. I'm going to make you at least take 30 seconds to talk with each other. So I am going to turn on a little bit of background music. If it's a gross decimal, I will not accept it. I will not accept a gross decimal. I already told you during class what to do instead. Talk with your team. You already had it as a fraction. You don't need to take your decimal and turn it into a fraction. You already had the fraction. Because remember, fractions are division. Division is a fraction. Fractions are division. They are the same thing back and forth. So if you type in a division in your calculator, which I bet you typed in a division, that is a fraction. That's a fraction. That, the division, is a fraction. What's on top and what's on bottom? Now you need to make sure you think about, is that A equals that times B, or is it B equals that times A? Is it A equals or is it B equals? You guys good? Like, you guys ready? All right, Lakin,
Okay.
our question master.
We got A equals 8 over 3 times.
A equals 8 over 3, because A is bigger. That makes sense, because A is bigger. So whatever our B is, multiply by 8/3, that gets our A. I will give a bonus point to whatever team can tell me the B equals equation. Ooh, Josh.
Oh yeah, since we forget about this, so you technically, like, if you flip the variables around, you also flip the
Okay, so you're saying put A here,
Yeah.
because we flipped the variables. Okay, so what fraction goes here?
3/8.
So now they're technically in the lead by a point, unless you knock over the tower. Send somebody to the tower. Jimmy, pick a question once I show you the question list again. 2, 3, 5, 8, 9, 10. 10. Write an equation that describes time compared to distance. We can use T and D. We can just use T and D. We don't have to do X and Y. T and D. T and D. She's not teaching. She's like doing stuff in her classroom. Lights turn off on that.
I think it's T equals 10 over 7 times. So 10 divided by 7.
So how can you write that equation though? You have the answer.
And then if
How
you,
can you write it?
it would be 30
0.7. It's 7 divided by
times
7. This is not hard.
So then how do you write that?
Like it. Like it.
It's not hard.
Like I said,
It's medium difficulty.
Yes, it's medium difficulty.
Come on, it's like when you would say like what the heck versus what you know you shouldn't say, right? Like it's you say it the better way.
Medium difficulty.
Yeah.
This is
Daily
medium.
mind delay.
Jimmy, you ready? This is your question.
Wait, can we
Make
say
sure you
it's
talk with your
close?
team. You can do T equals or D equals. I do not care which equation you give me. You can do T equals or you can do D equals. Yeah. What up, Mr. Estes? Sweet. I like when nothing's up.
Do you have any chalk?
Maybe. I would like seriously might.
I might,
Does he
Mr.
have chalk?
Do you mean
Estes,
like
I might-
outdoor chalk for a chalkboard or
Yes,
outside chalk?
teacher chalk.
I might have some in my room. Let me look.
It's hard to find.
I need chalk. I thought some chalk. I also burn some wood.
Just don't know where it went.
Yeah, the
You got white
burn
chalk?
wood and it turns into
I
chalk.
Give me 2 seconds to
I
switch
used
class
to.
work.
I don't know if I can't remember.
When do you need it?
I'll look.
You don't have any chalk. I thought there might be.
All right, Jimmy. Sorry, they're already switching classes. Hit me with an equation.
He's too focused.
T equals 1.4.
Ooh, or give it to me as the fraction. The fraction's better. The decimal's gross. Give me the fraction that you typed into your calculator. What'd you type in?
1 plus 10 divided by 7.
This. So hold up. On con, if you were to type in 1.4, it's wrong. Because that decimal goes on way farther than 1.4. This is where we would need to use the fraction because that is a gross decimal. I'm gone the next 2 days. You guys are taking quizzes and a test with Mr. Manning. Fractions are safer. Have a great day. Fractions are safer.